Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you are listening to the sound of my voice, then you are tuned in to another episode of Marking Out Amongst Friends, the podcast. You know me, it's your boy, Jay Riddy in the building. And you know, if I'm in here, I ain't never in here alone. I'm always rolling deep. Of course, I got my wonderful host, partner in podcast, the master of curves and swerves herself, a.k.a. Lady Great One got the reads. Y'all give it up for Lady Great One.
Well, I appreciate that, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Yeah, it's going to be a low and slow one today for me, boys.
Low and slow.
And if you hear that other voice in the background right now, we are also in here with your boy, a great friend of ours who we love to mark out with. He is a sports analyst as well as a rapper. And of course, you know he does our theme song. Give it up for the official Chill P in the building.
Oh yeah. Coming through, no Batista slip. You feel me? So let's go.
So, of course, you know, it's post-Wrestlemania weekend. We got a lot of shit to talk about tonight. Of course, the weekend was very long and eventful, and there's a lot of topics that the world has been buzzing about ever since. I know you guys out there probably been itching to talk about this, and more than likely have been itching to hear us talk about it. Hell, we've been waiting to talk about it. But, you know, we had to hold off until Thursday because that's our time. But anyway, before we get into any of that, you know what it's time to do. Because he's in the building, we're going to hit our damn music one time for your boy Chill P.
Hey.
He looks like a fan.
Yeah. Marking out.
He was marking out, man.
450 off the top with the top.
Splash.
Leader of the new school, ain't no way to stop us. Mark it out, screaming loud, tell me who you with. Competition is none, cause we lunatics. Yeah. Walk with me down these roads if you're all in. I love the feeling, baby, time to go to work again. Come together like a fist and we do it proud. Light it up and burn it down, cause we marking out.
He was marking out, man.
Whew.
Oh yeah.
So we were just talking about this theme before we hit record. You know, we were just all chopping it up. And very interesting, Chill P, you said you wrote this and did this in one take, this theme song.
One take, man. I wrote it in I got the beat, wrote it in about 5 minutes. Took another 5 minutes to record and master and digitize and all that and send it off. So about 10 minutes flat for the whole situation.
Wow, that's amazing. And here I can't even remember what I ate for lunch today. Much less put together a song in 10 minutes. It takes me 20 to pull up everything to start the show with. And I do that every week. That is just crazy.
Oh yeah, man.
There's a very creative brother right there.
Appreciate that. Now it's time to get it on like a hot steaming neck bone.
I don't think
that's
they know.
Stevie Ray for everybody. That's Stevie Ray for everybody. That's Hall of Fame Stevie Ray for everybody.
It's funny you mentioned the Hall of Fame. So the Hall of Fame was definitely this past Sunday. We're going to jump into that one very shortly. But we're just going to go straight Friday through Sunday and recap everything, all the highs and lows and things that were amazing, some stuff that we thought was You know, we honest out here. Ain't nobody going to put on for anybody. You know, we're going to give it to you straight, no chaser. We're going to jump right into NXT TakeOver. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. April the 5th. Had 5 matches on the card that night. A lot of bangers that night. And not like NXT doesn't always put together some amazing pay-per-views. And they don't always give you a 5, stars, five-star matches in one night. But if there's ever been a night where they gave you at least a 4-star on every single match, I'm going to definitely say this one was one of them. Hey, what did you guys think of TakeOver?
Toya?
Oh, I was going to let you go first. You're the guest, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that. Well, I'm going to kick things off like this, man. I'm gonna pull out the chill meter, a scale of 1 to 10, and I think Takeover New York is my first 10 out of 10.
Woo.
This pay-per-view, this whatever you want to take over was, I mean, absolutely amazing from front to back. And then even the biggest reason why I gave it a 10 out of 10, the matches we all know the matches were spectacular. 5 matches, I think, is the perfect amount of matches for a big pay-per-view like that. They never really have a lot of pay-per-view matches, so that's great. Great excitement. Okay, we know that. But for me, what made it a 10 out of 10 is the swerve. I went into this pay-per-view thinking that it was Adam Cole's time. It was the time of, shock the system, undisputed era. It's going to be another heartbreak for Gargano, especially with this draft coming. Oh, yeah, it's Adam Cole all day. And for Gargano to pull it off the way he did, 3-4 against 1, it was amazing. Had me on the edge of my seat. 10 out of 10 for TakeOver for me.
Okay. Lady Great One.
Well, I'm going to do it since I miss swerves and curves, but I would have to politely disagree there. I was not that high on TakeOver this time. There's a shocker. Yes, it's really true. To me, and I love my women, I love my girls, but they drug down the show to me. I mean, you're in a fatal 4-way, no disqualification, and yet there was not a bit of anything dirty. Bianca only used her hair one time. It didn't have a great chemistry in this match. Bianca and Shayna have good chemistry by themselves. Shayna and Kyrie have good chemistry by themselves. But Io and Kyrie and Bianca and Shayna together just didn't have the chemistry for me. So I think that was a weak part of the night. But I'm going to go behind and say that all of y'all who slept on Matt Riddle, y'all better want to reevaluate those statements because your boy is bad.
Yes, agree completely, 100% agree. And if I could piggyback on something that you was just talking about, I agree 100% with you as far as the Fatal 4-Way match, as far as the chemistry. I'm not a big fan of the Fatal 4-Way period, but I do like the fact that Baszler still retained and that they keep building her as a very strong champion because she is bad for real. She's bad for real. So I love the fact that they didn't have it's WrestleMania weekend, let's just switch the titles and just have the excitement factor. I love the fact they made her retain and that she gets to continue on as the champ.
Damn straight. I can definitely agree with both of y'all on this one. I think I'm going to shock everybody a little bit. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. I think I would probably give it about a 9.25 out of 10. Yeah, I'm being an asshole. But I think that the pay-per-view as a whole was well-rounded. I think you got substance on each of the 5 matches. Like you said, a lot of the highlight was Matt Riddle pulling out an offensive onslaught. I mean, he was pulling out maneuvers that I did not know that he was capable of doing. He was pulling out some stuff that I've never really seen before. And it was just, I was in awe. He's definitely got the future written all over him. It was almost to the point where I almost wanted him to beat Dream for like 10 seconds in that match. Like, I really...
He turned me.
I almost wanted him to win. I was like, look, if he don't do all of this, I mean, he might have earned this.
Yeah.
But
he turned me.
The things that soured this pay-per-view just a little bit and made me take it off a couple of points off of the rating. Exactly like everybody said, the women's match. The Fatal 4-Way just didn't seem like the chemistry was there. It kind of seemed like they kind of went through a sequence of, all right, we're all in here, and now 2 of us are going to get out. It's you 2 turn. now you guys are done. Now it's our turn. And then it was just like it didn't seem like it really flowed. It's like you can almost like see almost everything coming. Not to say it was a bad match. It didn't have that spark for me. Another thing that brought this one down, and I'm not going to take away from the match as a whole. I still think it was a 5-star match. Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole put together a spectacle in this 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yes,
I argue only the logic behind how he kicked out of so many finishers in the end. I think he got hit. Adam Cole hit him with that knee in the back of the head like 3 times, and he got put.
I thought it was over.
Yeah, he got put in the. He got put in the tag team finisher from Red Dragon, and then he got super kicked out of his whole springboard DDT move, and he kicks out of all of this stuff. And I understand, they're building how strong he is, and the will to come back. But it only took 1 knee in the beginning of the match to get the first fall. So you mean to tell me after 30 minutes of this match that now you can withstand any finisher, nothing can put you away? That's the only beef I have with that match. Other than that, like I said, it's still a 5-star match. But just that whole logic of that sequence upset me a little bit. And maybe because I really wanted Adam Cole to win as well. But that sequence really kind of it irked me as far as the logic behind that.
I can dig that. Yeah, I can feel that. It was. I guess if you're looking at it on both sides, you can take that as a positive and a negative. Like I said, with me, all those times I thought it was over a couple of those times with Adam Cole, like I said, and I took it as an excitement factor. Oh, the old Vince Russo swerve, bro. That Gargano kept kicking out, and then he won the title. Yeah, and I agree with you too. You made valid points. As far as the logic behind it, I would have liked to see Adam Cole win at least with the second near fall. But at the same time, I couldn't really take away from the fan excitement, everything that went down with Gargano just ultimately pulling that out. And like I said, the swerve factor for me. So that's why. But I agree with everything you said, though.
Mm-hmm. For me,
and just to add to that, can you hear me? I mean, I know I was having a little technical difficulties, but can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. But just to add on to what you were saying, it was a lot of excitement, a lot of drama in that match. Yeah, it was like, okay, that last shot that he took was like, okay, yeah, that put him out for the 3 count. And then all of a sudden he hulks up, he Ultimate Warrior no sales that last shot the last time, and popped right back up, and then hit him in the what's it called? The Gargano stretch or something like that, or
Gargano escape.
What it's called? Gargano escape. Yes, thank you. I couldn't find a word there, but he took a lot of punishment there at the end that was a little unnecessary. I mean, yeah, it was cool and made for a lot of excitement, but like, really, like you get put out that quick on the first fall, and then all of a sudden, like you gain immunity to it.
Yeah.
Are you Super Cena? You gaining immunity all of a sudden? Yeah. Is there something that we don't know about you, Johnny?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I agree. It's like it didn't take away from the excitement, but it was just like, okay, I understand. He's the heart and soul of NXT, and this is a long time coming, and it's emotional, story behind it. I get the story behind it, but it's just like, had that been, and this is what really kind of pissed me, because I said this live after the match was over with, and a lot of people disagreed with me live. But my thing is, if this would have been Roman Reigns, right, or John Cena, and say they're going against somebody that is a fan favorite, maybe like a fan favorite as far as heel face, but just a fan favorite, like the fans love them. Like, say it's Seth Rollins.
I was going to actually use in that example, like the old Daniel Bryan or That's America's Favorite Underdog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
using somebody like that.
Yeah, like say if he hit 5 running knees in a row on Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns kicked out of all of them, we would have been talking about how he buried Daniel Bryan. And he no-sold Daniel Bryan, and WWE is forcing him down our throats. And this, that, and the third. And it's just like, I'm not going to be the person who says it's not bad logic just because of the fans being behind it and wanting them to go forever. It's still illogical no matter whether you're booing the person in the ring or whether you're cheering the person in the ring. However, like I said, I'll still give the match like a 5-star match. I'm not going to take away from the match itself. It's just that one portion that really kind of messed with me logically.
That's valid. I like that. That's valid.
But I mean, I don't want to spend just all the time, even though that was an amazing match. Like I said, there were other great matches. Walter and Pete Dunne really went at it. And I think I ended up calling Walter being the person to knock Pete Dunne off because I was like, Walter is a beast. And, I had only seen bits and pieces of him before that match. But first of all, I was impressed with the chemistry that he and Pete Dunne have for him to be such a bigger competitor than Pete Dunne is. And second, the offensive ability of somebody like Walter. You don't see how agile, how fast, and, you don't see what all sticks out about him just when you see him walk out. He looks like some normal guy. But that guy is really, 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 really good.
Oh, yeah, 100%, man. I was so impressed by Walter. I like the whole match because for me, it told the story. Dunne, like his offensive repertoire, how was it going to match up with Walter? He did not deter from his offensive repertoire. He still worked the fingers. He can do that against anybody. Walter sold everything from Dunne. They sold each other. Man, I like that match front to back. I like Walter ending it with a big splash. No one expected that from Walter. I've seen a couple of Walter's matches, so that big splash was real dope to see coming from him. It was a dope match. Thought it kind of went a little bit long for me, but all in all, I enjoyed the match a lot.
And to add to that match, it had that gritty, old school wrestling feel. It wasn't a bunch of high flying. Right. It wasn't a bunch of acrobatics. It was just some gritty, old school, like back in the early 80s type match. Mm-hmm. Like you had the smaller guy, you had the bigger guy. And I mean, they did have great chemistry. And I appreciate it for what it was. Was it the best match of the night? To me, once again, no. But it was still a very hard-hitting, slow fest, but that's what I was expecting, and I got everything that I wanted in that match, except for the fact that, I predicted that Pete Dunne was going to retain. Sometimes we all are.
And not to take away from the War Raiders match either, the War Raiders versus Aleister Black and Ricochet was definitely great as well. Great, perfect send-off for both of those guys. A lot of close calls. It really makes the War Raiders look like really strong, and it makes me wonder, as in the words of Bill Goldberg, who's next? Like, I've seen them decimate the best tag teams that NXT has to offer. It's like somebody is going to have to win, and more than likely win underhanded to defeat the War Raiders.
Yeah,
I project a heel turn from the Street Profits to beat the War Raiders.
That's dope. I like that.
I like that too.
I like that.
I like that too. I like the Street Profits in general. I'm ready for them to start turning it around. They did win what they said was a dark match, also a taping for a future NXT show. So they did get a win in the, I guess we would call it NXT's pre-show on that night that wasn't televised. So shout out to the Street Profits out there. I'm going to jump right into the next thing because we got a lot to go over. And WrestleMania is going to be a big portion here. The Hall of Fame. Now, if I'm going to be honest, this Hall of Fame, even though it was one that I was looking forward to, was one that I didn't really get to watch. Had some personal things going on with the family, celebrating my nephew's birthday. So, I wasn't able to watch. But a lot of stuff going down. One video that's circling its way around is the fan jumping in the ring and attacking my personal favorite, Bret the Hitman Hart, before he got his ass beat by a lot of the wrestlers who were standing by, probably waiting to whoop the fans' ass. What do you think of this? Why do you think what is the motive behind wanting to attack 78-year-old Bret the Hitman Hart?
Well, from the reports that I've been reading, it was a guy who was known to heckle a lot of the guys, the wrestlers on Twitter, a UFC fighter. For whatever reason, don't know if he was a guy who got a tryout and just didn't make it or whatever the case may be. But he was said to have quoted to be said to saying that he's been plotting on this moment for a long time and targeting Bret, and the Hall of Fame would have been the perfect situation. Neither here or there, but it's a whole crazy situation. I just think it was first of all, it was dumb on his part because, you have all those, you have Big E right there. He's probably the biggest, the quickest he got to the ring from the videos I've seen. I've never seen a big guy move that quick. Seen another video with the guy getting punched in the face by, Dawson's partner.
Dawson.
Yeah.
Dash Wilder.
Yeah, Wilder. Yeah, got a good shot on him. So, it was good to see that. You would have known that would have happened. Senseless act. You don't like to see stuff like that. So that's about it. That's all I got to say about it.
I have to say, shout out to Travis Brown on that one because he's not even in WWE. Ronda is, and he jumped that barricade quick as the day is long. And he's a UFC fighter, so I wouldn't doubt that there might be a future match potential there or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? But just so he can get him one-on-one and beat the brakes off of that boy. But, yeah, that was stupid, senseless. And now they're talking about that they are probably going to go to a smaller venue and not allow as many fans as repercussions of one
I'm cool with
apple
that.
to spoil the whole bunch.
See, it's always that one person to fuck it up for everybody. It's always that one person. It's always, we can't have nothing. And I know, like, growing up, you hear people say that all the time. And I heard my mama say this stuff all the time. I never thought I would be the person to be uttering these words. But we can't have anything. We can't have nothing nice because you got idiots that want to do. First of all, how many videos have we watched growing up of fans jumping into the ring and getting the hell beat out of them, no matter what size, physical stature, what they are? Once you get into the ring,
right,
it's like the wrestlers are putting the red light on your ass. They own your ass right then. Like, have you not seen that happen? Like, why would you do that? Like, it don't make no sense
at all, man.
Like, I just feel like you just woke up that morning and was just like, you know what? I want to get my ass kicked today. I'm going to the Hall of Fame.
Had to. Had to.
He was plotting and planning and scheming this thing for a while, so he knew that he was going to get his 15 seconds of fame and a broken nose to go along with it.
Now, and like I said, Bret Hart is my favorite. I can just imagine how I probably would have blanked out. Like, if I'm a wrestler in WWE and I'm seeing my favorite, up here giving a speech and some random jackass jumps in the ring with a dreadlock hat on and, tries to tackle him and get a couple of shots in, like, I'm probably going to jolly stomp you while we're out there. They'll probably have to take me to the back, too. Because it's Bret, man. I know a lot of people hate Bret, but come on. We're past this now. We're old enough to know that, what legal ramifications are going to come after this.
I do want to say this one last thing about it though. Like, God rest his soul, the Anvil. I would have loved to see if he would have been there. How crazy the Anvil is, the stories that we've heard. What the Anvil would have done if had that guy went in there and still tackled Brett like that. I really thought we would have seen an Anvil elbow right in that dude's nose for real. I think it would have got ugly if Anvil was here.
Oh, yeah.
If Anvil had been here, he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, he had to would have had it twice.
He would have had second thoughts.
He still looked like an Anvil before he passed.
It's like, yeah, like I said, go ahead.
Poor Natalia.
Yeah, poor Natalia. Like that was
poor Natalia. She got trampled.
Yeah, that was very disrespectful for someone trying to honor her father and her uncle, so to speak. But I won't spend all of the time talking about this incident, giving this guy, too much publicity. But the Hart Foundation was definitely, because Brett was my favorite, the Hart Foundation was one of my favorites as well. Also getting inducted were Harlem Heat, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Tori Wilson, and was another story that I didn't talk about. Tori Wilson, her father, I want to say I read an article that he actually passed away the day of the Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. That's messed up.
I believe it was 2 days prior.
2 days prior? Okay.
I believe it was 2 days prior. Yeah.
So it was right around the same time as the Hall of Fame. And, for that to happen and for her to still go out there, I definitely want to commend her on that. And I did fact check. You are right. He died actually 2 days before the Hall of Fame. And we do know Al Wilson, Tori Wilson's father, from a couple of segments that he did back in the day with Dawn Marie and, a couple of others. So rest in peace to him. But yeah, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, the Honky Tonk Man finally being inducted. And then, of course, the main event, D-Generation X being inducted. I think this is probably the first Hall of Fame in a long time, even though I didn't get to see it, that I'm pretty much happy with everybody who was inducted from top to bottom.
Yeah, this was a pretty dope Hall of Fame. I do, my only beef with, of course, if anybody has been paying attention to the page, my favorite of the night was the Harlem Heat. I grew up the biggest Harlem Heat fan. I was, that's when, you couldn't tell me wrestling was nothing but real. So being from New York, it was like the Harlem Heat was my team. You feel what I'm saying? So, it was a joy seeing them. It was unexpected. I didn't think Vince would ever be like, oh yeah, the Harlem Heat, they're going in the Hall of Fame. I would have loved to see them at a WrestleMania at one point back in the day. But of course, it's cool. They in the Hall of Fame. The only beef I really have with is I understand the whole DX situation. I just think it ran super long. And I just had to mute it a couple times and do other stuff while they was doing whatever they was doing. But it was a good. I agree. I was cool with everybody who went in this year.
Well, I didn't watch the Hall of Fame. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there. I typically don't watch the Hall of Fame. After hearing DDP's 45-minute long speech a couple years back when he got inducted in. I said right there, I'm not going to watch the Hall of Fame anymore. No offense. But I did my personal standpoint, and I congratulate everybody who's gone in, but I just don't watch the Hall of Fame. So I wanted to put that out there. Second of all, I take back all the bad things I may have said in the past about Tori Wilson, because no, she wasn't in there for wrestling, really, but she did the best she could with what she was given, and she did a good job. And the courage and strength that she showed coming out there just 2 days after her father passing away, I mean, that's incredible. And part of a lot of, and she also stated too. So good job, girl. You helped a lot of us women get men.
Damn state. I also found it funny. And before I jump into Mania, just one more thing. It's funny because I thought about the three groups that got inducted: Harlem Heat, DX, and the Hart Foundation. And it's like all of these groups have had some sort of history at some point, with each other. And what I could just think about was the Harlem Heat wasn't involved in this, but every time I think about DX and the Hart Foundation, I think where they were really in the heart of their feud, and they had trashed the Nation of Domination's locker room. DX had trashed their locker room, but they blamed it on the Hart Foundation. And when they were cutting the promo, I think it was Shawn Michaels had said to Farouk, "Oh yeah," and I think I'd heard them use the N-word, and I was just like, "Yo, this is too hilarious!" Like DX had some classic they always knew how to push the envelope and go too far, but it be funny at the same time. I will always appreciate DX for that.
Most def, yeah. DX, my favorite DX moment, man, I don't even have a favorite DX moment, man. They're just iconic. Every era, how they've been able to evolve through the times, through the members, the storylines, whatever, the reuniting moments. Iconic group, man.
Yeah, Lady Great One and I were talking last week on the show, and it was just like, it's crazy how these young kids, when we say DX, they're just going to think about an old Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And it's like, man, they're not going to know how great, DX was as a faction. They're not going to know the epic back and forth that they had with the Nation of Domination. They're not going to know about China. They're not going to know about, X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws. Like, just every part of DX was all entertaining. And you don't see stables like that anymore where everybody in the stable could go out there and rock a microphone on a promo. So, DX was truly one of a kind. And that's definitely the epitome of wrestling culture when we were growing up.
Most def, agree with every word.
Lady Great, want anything on that before we jump into Mania?
Let's go ahead and get into Mania.
All right. So, with WrestleMania is a long event if anybody watched. I think WrestleMania had to go at least, 6 hours, I believe? 6 hours and some change. More than that, actually.
7 hours, 7.5 hours, actually. Pre-show kicked off at 5.
Oh. Yeah, and the network is showing the actual show at 5 hours and 23 minutes.
Whew. If y'all knew how I just hustled right now, I'm sorry. My laptop was about to die. I was about to lose the whole show. Whew. Oh my goodness. But yeah, 7 hours. That's a lot of wrestling to digest at one time. And I'm a huge wrestling fan, but man, it felt like I had worked a whole shift by the end of WrestleMania. But throughout the whole 7 hours, there were a lot of great moments. One moment that where a lot of us are waiting to talk about. So before we get into the huge highlights, let's just go over some of the lesser matches and just, run through some of these. Of course, the Battle Royals will start with all the pre-shows. Pre-show matches, the Battle Royals. Braun Strowman defeats 29 other men in the 30-man Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial. I saw this one coming. I mean, it really didn't make any sense for anybody else to win. It really insulted my intelligence to make me think that they really tried to give Colin Jost a chance against Braun Strowman.
I'm going to reserve all my comments in a few minutes about WrestleMania.
All right, Lady Great, want anything on the Braun Strowman winning the Battle Royal? No?
You got to give me a minute. I got background noise. Hold on.
Well, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead, man. here's my beef with that whole thing, and I'm gonna keep it as far as we're just talking about Braun Strowman for now. I am very, very disappointed with WWE in the fact that this is, to me, in the second year in a row that they have wasted Braun Strowman. This man, especially the pounds that he's shed and how he looks now, I don't understand how he's just specifically on the pre-show of WrestleMania. How you couldn't get Braun Strowman after the matches that you've put him through, the storylines we've seen him going through, how he's not on the main card of WrestleMania. And he's in another gimmick situation, just like last year when he won the tag team titles with a young little kid fan feel-good moment. This year, he's throwing out the host, quote-unquote, of Saturday Night Live in a 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal on the pre-show. Like, I don't understand what's going on, what's popping behind the scenes with Braun Strowman and management. I don't know, but 2 years in a row, I'm not feeling it.
I can definitely agree. Braun is probably the biggest star that I've seen on a pre-show in the pre-show age for WrestleMania. Definitely a waste of his stardom and talents. But congrats to him for winning the irrelevant Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Most def.
Yes, congratulations on that. But I don't want to talk about that battle royal per se as much because like we all seen it coming. He was going to make SNL get these hands. So
facts.
And technically he beat 30 people because he did also beat up their therapist. So 30 people got those hands that night.
Yeah. Move
exactly.
along.
So yeah, I'm
gonna spend much time on that. But you did skip a pre-show match.
Oh, we ain't done yet.
Say a thing.
We've only done one.
I know. You just said both memorial matches. Put it that way. So the battle royals. But go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I was going to breeze through the next one. Of course, Carmella capitalizing on eliminating Sarah Logan for the 17-woman women's battle royal.
Yes.
Yes. So definitely shout out to Carmella for that one. Another non-relevant, no consolation prize match. There was anything to capitalize on that one? Anything you guys want to talk about on that one?
No, just congratulations, Carmella. You looked hella good, actually. But, other than that, hey, congratulations.
Man, Sarah Logan was a beast in that match.
Yes,
she was.
Like, so I could honestly say that she's actually the strongest member of the Riot Squad. So, like, it seems like they've pushed her a little bit more than they have the others, even though Ruby Riott is the leader, but it seems like because I know last year she did show off in that, and she also was the last remaining Riot Squad member in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they're high on her. She's. I think that was like a sign that how she was like the false winner, but I think that's like a kind of like a hidden sign, like a jab, like, hey, watch for her in this quote unquote new year of the WWE. So hopefully that's how I took it. So hopefully that's true.
All right. Also, we saw the Revival lose the titles to the returning tag team of Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. They are now the WWE Raw Tag Team Champions. Yay. Anybody got anything on that one other than how they feel like the Revival was pretty much screwed in this one?
Definitely screwed in this one. I'm just ready for the WWE to just push the reset button on the tag team division, make the company one whole big tag team division, because obviously they don't know Raw. At least Raw's never known what to do with the tag. It's always seemed like SmackDown knows what to do with their tag teams. just put the whole tag teams together so we can have real tag team matches, real rivalries, and the revival. Yeah, I think they did get screwed. They should be long-running, long-standing tag team champions. And by the way, I agree with them. They should bring back the old school tag team belts.
Well, I do like the whole old school tag team belts idea. I knew that Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins were going to get their moment. I wouldn't say that it was like a diss to the revival, but I just thought it was more of a foreshadowing as to, okay, we know what tag team is more than likely going to go to SmackDown next week on the shakeup. So
hopefully.
That's what I'm seeing there. I'm thinking we're going to get some shades of the revival to SmackDown because they're unhappy with the tag team situation on Raw. So it just, to me, that just looked like that was what that was shadowing towards.
Yeah, they definitely need to go to SmackDown. Hell, you can bring the bar back and you can throw Shinsuke and Rusev in the mix as well and put them back on Raw. Put the revival on SmackDown and let them rock out in that tag team division with some of those better tag teams. Last match on the pre-show, Tony Nese, Buddy Murphy. Tony Nese becomes the new Cruiserweight champion. I think this is where I kind of caught the tail end of this match. Tony Nese definitely put on, he and Buddy Murphy put on a show as expected. Do you guys think that Tony Nese is charismatic enough to be a champion and to carry the same type of reign that we saw from Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy before him?
2 words. Why not? I mean, 205 needs something to get it popping. You know what I'm saying? And why not? Why not try it with anybody? Like, if it doesn't work with Nese, drop it and go with somebody else who's up and coming and new or who's hotter on the scene. And you know what I'm saying? Something has to hit. Someone's going to have to hit. You know, Ali's got moved up to SmackDown now. He's, shown that he's exciting. He can get over without a title. So let's see if we can build somebody with the title and really put 205 on the map, in some type of shape or form. So that's my response to it. Why not?
I'd like to see the man of the hour. I'd like to see him drop away from Bobby Lashley and get serious on 205 Live and be the Cruiserweight champion.
I agree with that. That'll get some exposure to 205 Live. I've always talked about that. Like, hey, why not give, the champion somebody to manage on the main roster? Then you have the title constantly on the main roster all the time, every week. You know what I'm saying? So that's a dope idea. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. About that, I like that idea. I really do. I think that will be great exposure for 205 Live for the champ to be coming out with the title while he's managing somebody else. That's great exposure because people are like, oh, what's this belt? Oh, that's pretty nice. So this guy's on 205 Live too. So he's actually an in-ring performer as well. Oh, well, let's check him out. He's not just a little loudmouth 12-year-old kid out here. So Leo Rush would be a good person to put out there. But going back to Tony Nese, have you seen his little videos that he does?
I have not.
Like he's done a couple of little videos and stuff where he's like backstage and he's talking to different superstars and stuff. And he's like, yeah, my energy drink and blah, 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 my energy shake. And they're like, he's like, here, try some. And so, like, he let somebody try it, and then they drink the whole bottle, and then just throw it back at him. Yeah, man, that was really good. He's like, damn, that was my only one. I mean, it's funny, and like he does have personality. I just don't think that he's really had that much of an opportunity to shine and to remain in the forefront of the camera. So that's why I don't think that you would say that he's charismatic enough because of the fact that he hasn't had that much opportunity. Because he's actually a pretty funny guy.
Yeah, and he's definitely got the look. You know, he's got the look of a champion that you would want on 205 Live. But yeah, it's just like I don't know much about other than his look. I still kind of think of him as being the right hand man to other people who've been champion. So it's just like, you know, he was Enzo's right hand man for a second. He was Buddy Murphy's friend and training partner for a while. And now, you know, he's getting a shot, but it's just like, you know, I don't know really what to expect, I guess, is what I see from that. He put on a hell of a match, though. I'll tell you that. For the Cruiserweight Championship match to only get about 10 minutes, that was they put on a really good show. Jumping right into the main show. First match that I want to bring up, first and foremost, just to get it out of the way, Kurt Angle was defeated by Baron Corbin. That was Kurt Angle's last match, y'all.
I'm gonna be the heel. I guess I'm gonna play the heel and say, and I promise you, this is has nothing to do with me being a prior Corbin fan. I say prior because I don't like this incarnation of Corbin, but I am not mad at the logic due to the old school rule. You leave on your back. You feel what I'm saying? So he tried his best to put Corbin over, and Corbin is over as a hated heel because he was the chosen one to be in Kurt Angle's last match. It wasn't my choice. It wasn't the popular choice, but it happened, and Kurt Angle still went by the old school rule of leave on your back, and I tip my cap for that.
I think that if Baron Corbin were to talk to people more, or the way that he talks to people on like Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that, and is actually able to use his character, he'd be the most absolute hated person in the company right now. Oh wait, he's already back.
Yeah, I don't have any comments on that one, man. You know, I'm a previous Baron Corbin hater, certified and bona fide. But it was just, the chemistry wasn't there. It didn't make sense. It didn't seem like either one of them wanted to be in that moment. And on top of that, I mean, I probably want to watch a rematch of the first Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar match before I watch that match. Next on the card.
Oh, I will say this much.
Oh, go ahead.
Hold on. Before we get off of Baron Corbin real quick, please, for the love of God, get some better in-ring gear. Please, I beg of you, Corbin. Please get some better in-ring gear. Continue.
I'm tired of the dress shirt and vest as well. I'm with you on that. Next match on the card. This match ended so quickly that you can ask the people that I was there with. I did not realize the match had started. Samoa Joe defeats Rey Mysterio in exactly 1 minute. I don't remember Samoa Joe's music ever cutting off. But evidently, you know, they had 60 seconds worth of a match before Samoa Joe choked him out. What does this mean for Rey? Is Rey done on WWE television?
I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's been conflicting stories saying he was coming into WrestleMania with an injury that could have been a reason, and there was stories talking about, well, WrestleMania was running long and matches had to get cut short, and that was the creative way they wanted to go, was with Joe over big in a record timing. So depending on who you ask, is depending on what happened in one of them two situations. But I'm not mad at it I don't think Rey was expected. I don't think Rey was going to go over anyway. So I'm not mad at the decision to go 55 seconds and have a match. It puts Joe over even more as a strong champion, which I think he should be put over as a strong champion, to give that title especially some more credibility with a dignified champion. Not dignified, with a more certified champion. So no beef here over that decision.
Whatever the decision was, I liked it because I like Joe having a title around his waist.
Absolutely, I do. I want Joe to keep the U.S. title for quite some time. I think I said it the first night that he won it. I think that he's going to bring some legitimacy to that title. And right now, it's probably going to be he's definitely the better mid card champion in the company right now, compared to the Intercontinental title. It seems like it just keeps getting passed around. Next match on the card, I'm just going to keep going through a lot of matches that didn't really mean a whole lot. And, you guys might disagree with me on some. So, if you guys want to spend some time, giving your thoughts on some of them, don't be afraid to hold back, But Shane McMahon defeated The Miz in a Falls Count Anywhere match. A week after The Miz defeated the entire Sanity in a Falls Count Anywhere
match. The best part about that match, Miz going up and showing that he was willing to take risks because and the entire time, Miz has been wrestling. He's never done all the moves and stuff that he's done in this match. He has not really left the arena like that. You've never seen him in a Falls Count Anywhere match. I thought it was good. The funniest part was where, of course, George, or Mr. Miz, as we so lovingly call him, got in the ring, put his dukes up, and Shane adjusted it. That was hilarious. But still, Miz going all over the arena. They broke at least 2 or 3 announce tables up there in the rafters. Then Shane falling off the ledge onto the golf cart that was just magically there. That was incredible. And going up out the top, and he said out of all the things he could have done, a vertical suplex.
Yeah.
A solid vertical suplex.
I'm just going to keep this one real short. I think the best part of the match was the 1, 2, 3.
And it's over.
I wasn't a real big fan of the match. Yeah.
And it's over, and we never have to see it again, hopefully. You know what? I'm sick of Shane. I can't. You know what? I tried to hold that one in, but I'm sick of Shane McMahon. I understand for storyline purposes he's supposed to be a dick right now. I don't have a problem with his character. I just have a problem with him always being in an actual match at every single pay-per-view. With as much talent as they have on SmackDown, which is many months where the mid-card championship never even got defended on pay-per-view, but Shane McMahon had a match. I'm very sick and tired of Shane McMahon in real life right now. Not the character Shane McMahon, but I'm just pissed off. Please stop wrestling. Please, I just want somebody to come in and just kick his teeth in really quick, and then we don't see Shane in the ring anymore. It didn't happen with Kevin Owens.
There's one thing that I want Shane to do. Sorry. There's one thing I want Shane to do. At some point in time, he has to come out to Cult of Personality.
I'll laugh.
Shane came out to Cult of Personality. Do you realize how much he would gain by pulling the biggest rib and coming out with Cult of Personality, calling himself the best in the world?
And the if I can piggyback on that real quick, and I've read something, it's crazy. I'm glad that you said that, because as much as CM Punk, and I'm getting to the point where I'm one of those guys who wants to keep CM Punk out of my conversation when it comes to WWE, but as much as CM Punk is all trash WWE and everything, he commented on that, and he admitted that he sat through all 5 hours of this WrestleMania. So he sits through this stuff. He watched this stuff, and of course he had to say he thought, and he thinks that whole Shane gimmick is a shot at him, which I don't think it is, but that's just CM Punk wanting to make WWE still relevant with his name, at least.
In most situations, I would agree with you. In this situation, it's not about him, but in all honesty, I really think it's about CM Punk at this point. I really think that they're just they're giving a big FU to you right now, because he probably thought to himself, when I leave WWE, people are gonna follow me and we're gonna crumble this whole establishment because they're corrupt. And I'm like, the show is always gonna go on. It's always bigger than one guy. But there have been some rumors, and this is just what they are, rumors, that as much as CM Punk and the WWE have battled back and forth for the last couple of years and how much that he says that he hates WWE, there are rumors circulating around that he could potentially be signing with either WWE or AEW coming up. And a lot of people are thinking that if he signs with WWE, that he's going to debut against Shane McMahon.
That would be the first person for him to debut against. But I still want to hear him hit Cult of Personality, Shane McMahon come out, and just like give the biggest FU to the universe. And then all of a sudden, the music hits again, and then CM Punk walk out.
Never say never, brother.
Yeah, I mean,
that's right.
If Hulk Hogan came back and the Ultimate Warrior came back,
if the Warrior came back,
yeah. After that point, anything is possible. I don't put nothing past anybody anymore. You know, I put nothing past anyone.
Never thought.
Bret Hart came back and he and Shawn Michaels shook hands in the middle of the ring. Nothing will surprise me.
Never thought.
Nothing in WWE in the future will ever shock me because I've witnessed all of that.
Listen, money
don't
talks.
Don't forget Bruno came back too.
Right, Bruno came. Money talks, man, and I think at the end of the day, that is money on both sides. If CM Punk was to step foot back in the WWE, Vince knows it, Triple H knows it. It's all about egos at this point. And if they can ever put them aside, man, the money that could be made with that, crazy.
Hell yeah. So, I'm going to keep on going with some of these matches before I get into the really big matches. And it's crazy that I'm saying little matches and about to say both of these guys next. But this wasn't a really huge WrestleMania match. But Roman Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre after Drew McIntyre had pretty much decimated the Shield single-handedly over the past 2 months. We saw Roman Reigns make his WrestleMania in-ring singles match return and defeat Drew McIntyre. Now, me personally watching this match, even though it was a match that I didn't really care much about, I thought it was a really solid match. It's just, it had to go on after probably the most anticipated match of the pay-per-view. So it wasn't really kind of fair for either one of those guys, and they didn't really get anybody paying attention to it like that.
Timing is everything.
Yeah.
Timing is everything. And that timing killed that match.
Yeah.
You should have put Joe and Ray on right after that.
Yeah.
You should have had Joe and Ray in that spot.
I thought it was a solid match. I agree with you. I think that match, I figured that match was going to be earlier in the night, seeing as though this was Roman's return and Drew's real big debut at WrestleMania. Correct me if I'm wrong, unless I'm really missing what he did last year, if he was there last year. He debuted the day after WrestleMania last year, I think. So, yeah, this was his first big debut. So I thought they was probably going to be in the Randy Orton, AJ Styles slot or possibly an opener. I thought that was going to probably be an opener match. By the way, I love the opening of Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. Perfect opening match. I didn't want to jump the gun, but just for that. But I thought that Roman Reigns match had a potential to be like an opener or in the slot of the Randy Orton AJ Styles match, which I thought that was going to be later on in WrestleMania. And I'll get into that match whenever we talk about that. So, but solid match though, nonetheless. It was a good match. I liked it.
Absolutely. We're going to jump into that one right after I go over this one. I think this is the last match that I really didn't care about to throw out there. But Finn Balor defeated Bobby Lashley. The Demon Finn Balor defeated Bobby Lashley in less than 5 minutes. The Demon's strong. We know the Demon is strong. We battle our demons every day. But, I really didn't care, honestly. You know, Bobby Lashley is not the most interesting guy for somebody like Finn Balor, chemistry-wise. I think Bobby Lashley is... I think both of them, honestly, could do better than their feud with someone else. And I think that's my only beef. And not to mention that, but we've seen this feud. They've been feuding for, it feels like, since 2018. So I didn't have any left for that match. I didn't have any care left for that match when it started.
Yeah, if I can be heel again, I didn't like this match. I didn't like anything about the match, from the storyline to how the match came together to the match being extremely late. It was what was it? Just before the main event, wasn't it? It was before the main event. I think they got that slot strictly for the attraction of the Demon coming back. I think we all knew that the Demon was going to be over in that match, so I thought it could have been earlier in the night. Once again, I still was high, and you said we're going to talk about this match next, was on that Randy Orton AJ Styles match. That match could have had that potential to be in that at that slot. Mm-hmm. I think Bobby. I think you're right. I agree with you with the chemistry between them wasn't good, but I do like Bobby Lashley as the Intercontinental Champion as a heel. I think Bobby Lashley as a heel is good. So I don't know. I just would have loved to see if I like that the Intercontinental title was the match before the main event. I like that. That's probably the only thing I liked about it. But as far as how the match came together and who was involved and everything, I think it could have been a early match.
Okay. But Lady Great One?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I could have just skipped this one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No problem. We'll jump right into AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. So AJ Styles defeated Randy Orton in the match that was billed as TNA versus WWE by a lot of people who have been watching this feud closely. I think that this match wasn't the best match that I've seen for either one of them, but I think that it was solid. And I give extra points for this match because I'm very surprised in a matchup that had so much personal ties to it that was billed as TNA versus WWE that ultimately TNA was victorious. I'm shocked. Every thought in my body said to myself, Randy Orton is coming out of this pay-per-view beating AJ Styles. And I was shocked.
This match, for me, this match was, I like this match. I very much so enjoyed this match. I like the fact that, for me, this was a classic match. This was Randy Orton getting a great opponent, not a new opponent to try to get over or anything like that. This was a veteran versus a veteran, a classic veteran versus a veteran match. I feel like it should have been later in the card because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story that they told in the ring. It was old school holds. It was body slams. It was high flying. It had a little bit of everything in it. It was comebacks from both guys. It probably didn't have as much high flying to get like the vote of match of the night or anything like that. Probably could have been a better match between those guys, but I feel like with the time that he was given to put the match together as far as their rivalry, I think it was a solid match, and I very much so enjoyed it.
On this match, I just have the feeling that this is just the first of at least probably 2 or 3.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
If they stay on the same show, that's the big kicker. But it looked like that this was going to be the first of at least a pretty good feud between the two of them, because they do work well together. They do have great chemistry. And yes, TNA came out on top this time, but ain't no telling when the Vipers are going to strike again. So we'll just leave it at that.
I think that, and I said, this wasn't the best match I've seen from either one of them, and it was a solid match. But what I will say is, and this is probably going to piss a couple of people off after I say this, I think that one match between them, the two of them, was better than any of the Shinsuke versus AJ matches in WWE.
Woo!
Agree.
Hot tag.
I agree, because we didn't need to know more nutcrackers. So yeah, this was good.
Yeah, that feud was highly disappointing. And I don't blame it on them. I blame it on WWE. But don't get me started on how Shinsuke and Asuka was at the top of their game just 1 year ago and how they barely was even on the card.
Yeah, I think that both of those two. And I ain't gonna spend a lot of time talking about either one of them, but both Shinsuke and Asuka, both I believe, need mouthpieces, and Shinsuke needs to be a face again. I think it was funny. The no speak English thing was funny at first, and we thought he would make an interesting heel. That project has pretty much failed after this, and if they don't bring him back to being a face, then I think you can really hurt his stock really bad. You can hurt Shinsuke's stock really bad if he doesn't go back face. Maybe he goes to Raw.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think that we'll actually talk about them when we actually get to his match. So, but on the other hand, like I said, the feud is good. The match was good, and it was a better feud than AJ versus Shinsuke. So,
absolutely. Next match, another one Chill mentioned earlier. Very short, but opened the show off right. Seth Rollins defeated Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. A lot of people were disappointed that he didn't get a match out of this, but from the logic behind the match, I think that even though it lasted only about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, that the booking was actually pretty perfect for both of them.
Listen, I'll keep this one. I'm a pull a Toya, and I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. Brock Lesnar is not a team player. He's not a people person. He's not one of the guys. He wants to get his check and go. They knew Rollins was going to win the championship. Put him on first so he can hop on his plane and get the hell up out of here. We don't want you anyway. See ya.
you took everything that I was going to say right there. You just completed my whole thought. I can't even add to that.
We don't want you. See you.
All right. Next match on the card. We're going to go with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the Women's Tag Team title. The Iconics made the Women's Tag Team division iconic by defeating the Boss Hug Connection, Nia Jackson, Tamina, and the returning Divas of Doom, Beth Phoenix and Natalya. What do you guys think of the Iconics as champions? You buy or sell?
I am 100% for it. I was completely cool with this decision to make the Iconics the champions. They have personality. They are a natural tag team. You know, I get the whole 4 horsewoman thing and the best friendship thing, cool. But we all know those are singles, you know, women. The Iconics are a tag team. They have personality. They have chemistry together. They get a reaction from the crowd. Why not? I'm cool with it. On board 100%. Congratulations to the Iconics.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in on this too, because of the simple fact that I think that they are the only one of those teams who came in as a tag team. So therefore, they are deserving of the tag team titles. And I originally predicted it, and then I changed my prediction. And I hate that I second guessed myself, because I mean, it actually seems right. And they're hilarious. They're annoying, but they're hilarious. So
yeah.
I'm really good with them having this title. It really shows some holes in the women's division right now. So, like, for lack of a better word, that match for them was iconic. And you gotta pump up the chest too.
Before I go into another match, now I just want to bring up a little bit about what happened after WrestleMania. So we all know that, you know, Lady Great One has been very critical of Sasha Banks, but she does give her respect a lot of times as well, which I definitely love that about Lady Great One. But Sasha Banks right now is a hot topic among chatter among the WWE universe right now. She actually no-showed the Wendy Williams show taping the next day, as well as she was not on Raw with Bayley, who ended up losing the singles match to returning Alexa Bliss the night after. So do you think that we guys have seen the last of Sasha Banks? It's been reported that she actually tried to pull a CM Punk and quit.
I think.
Was going to say anything about it? Sorry, I'm sorry. Let me jump in real quick on this one.
Go ahead. Yeah, no problem.
I wasn't going to say anything about that originally in that match. I was going to wait and make that a part of my final thought. But since you already did it, I'm going to go ahead and why in the world are people acting like such entitled, spoiled little brats? She's not acting like a boss. She's acting like a brat. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, right up until the end, things change. Accidents happen, and maybe not. But still, at the end of the day, you're supposed to be a professional. You go in, you do your job, and you do your job well. No matter how much you hate it, you have to do your job. She did her job. And then she went whining and complaining to the boss, and now, oh my God, I'm going to throw a hissy fit and just do that. Why? Why? You're making us all look bad. You're really bringing out that Sasha is ratchet like they used to chant in NXT. Because you're going running and crybaby and, oh, I'm mad because they're taking away my title that I worked so hard and fought for. When other people have to get over too. You're not the topic of conversation anymore. And they're just doing this. Maybe it's just, hey, put my name back in the spotlight because I should have been in this match. I should have been in this spot. I should be this. I should be that. When. Okay, CM Punk, we got you.
Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is.
I agree
I
with
love
all
it. Hey, I piggyback off of everything that you said. Listen, we're in a day and age where, like you said, some of these wrestlers, some of these entertainers, if you will, like the Dream, think they're entitled to everything. You know what I'm saying? And they don't take the time to, if you're not getting over, if you're constantly getting told that you're going to take the L, start reinventing yourself. Start doing something that's going to make you stand out. Her attitude, I really think, to me personally, I think it's just karma, because there's been stories of how she's not really a people person outside of the ring. She's one of the least people to come across in the airports and out at events and stuff like that. So look, man, the most successful superstars are the ones who are out there with the people who, are interactive and who are not closed and shelled. And she's not one of those people. So, hey, ain't no sympathy from me.
That's a good point. That is a good point, because how many times have I said on this show, hey, she is a fake face. She's better when she's a heel, but when she's a face, she's fake. Mm-hmm. You just get going through the fake smile, the open you go to hell, stab you in the back. That's what it looked. That's really what it looked like. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty good at reading people's attitudes and emotions, and she never looked like she was in it. And me and Jonathan have this conversation many times about how unless she's got something to fight for, she doesn't put her heart into it. Unless it's something big, she's never there. She doesn't show up.
I had this argument with a friend of mine a while back and my argument, and I hear me out on this one, I said Sasha Banks is looked at in the company as a transitional champion. She's not looked at as a champion as, oh, we're going to make her the champion, our champion. They look at her as, we want someone else to be the champion. How can we get there? Oh, let's make Sasha the champion so she'll have someone to beat. Because Sasha only holds her titles for one pay-per-view, and then she drops it. If you really go back to her history when she's been moved up, I think other than her first run, when she wins, she's dropping it like right at the next pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she's she's getting this reputation, at least from my point of view, as a transitional champion. She's not in her eyes, she feels like she's a top person, but I don't think she's a top superstar. And I don't think WWE looks as a top superstar. Yeah, she's a multiple champion, but look at those runs. She's always been a transitional champion for someone else. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, Sasha Banks is one of those people who, exactly like, Lady Great once said, we've had this talk so many times on the show, off the show, on Facebook. Like, she's really one of those people who, unless she's want to be that first women's champion or that first women's tag team champion, or if she's going to main event a takeover when she's in NXT, when she's not in that major moment, it's just like she's not doing anything to make you remember who she is. Think about somebody like Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch started off the same way as Bayley and Sasha. She comes in, she gets the championship quickly, she loses the championship, you don't really care much about her. But Becky Lynch took the opportunity to reinvent herself when she finally was given an opportunity.
Reinvent.
And now look at where she's at just because she took the time to make her. She was one of the most talked about things on SmackDown in WWE period over the last probably 7 or 8 months. One of the most talked about things.
Steve Becky.
One of the most talked about things there, and she was barely champion throughout any of that time frame. That she is the prime example of what you're supposed to do. If you are really, that damn good, it doesn't matter where they put you on at the show. And I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a second. I promise you, we're gonna finish WrestleMania.
Preach, Pastor, preach.
But it's a lot of people in this generation, and we're fans, so I expect it from us to say, I would quit if you make me lose to this person, or if you put me in a program with this person, or if I'm not getting this and that and the third, or if I was this in Ring of Honor. We're expected to say stuff like that because we're fans. But, for CM Punk to be one of the fastest Triple Crown champions ever, for him to accomplish one of the longest WWE title reigns that we've had in the modern era, for him to get all of what he got in WWE, and for people to say that he was underused only because he never main evented WrestleMania. I think that's the biggest crock of shit that I've ever heard, honestly. Like, yeah, you got guys now that are very talented. We say this all the time as well. WWE probably has the most talented roster of wrestlers that they have ever had, of pure wrestlers. Mm-hmm. I don't think that they've ever been this stacked. But just being from the indies is not your go to main event free pass.
You have to reinvent yourself. You have to reinvent yourself, and not to cut you off. You just making all the greatest points. If I'm Sasha, look at the business that they're in. They're sports entertainers. They're in the wrestling business. They have storylines. If you have a problem with something, cut a freaking promo. And maybe Vince or somebody looks at that and says, yo, we have a heel on our hands, or we have this on our hands. You know what I'm saying? Take that shit out on your work. Do your work. You know what I'm saying? This is your job. Just like Toya said, this is your job. You have a problem. This is what I would do. Cut a freaking promo. Go on Twitter. Make it a problem. Make it an issue for real, but not be a baby about it. But put that in the ring. Make some new moves. But you know what I'm saying? Make some heel moves. Do something to make the company be like, oh yeah, okay, we can use this. Use that energy in your craft instead of just being a baby and quitting. That's why I have no sympathy for it.
And that's why Becky's in the spot that she is and Sasha's in the spot that she is. Simple.
I agree. We can leave it at that right there. That's exactly where I was getting with that. Exactly. Next match on the card, Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. The Usos were victorious in defending their titles against the likes of Aleister Black and Ricochet, Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, and The Bar. The Uso Penitentiary walks away with the victory here. Lady Great was definitely the one to call this one last week. I did not expect them to win this one. As a matter of fact, I expected Aleister Black and Ricochet to debut after WrestleMania as new champs. The Usos might be legitimately now one of WWE's all-time great tag teams. Them and the New Day are probably going to be, when you think tag teams in this generation, them and the New Day are probably going to stick out more than anybody else.
I loved everything about, go ahead, Toya. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, please. Go ahead.
Well, I love, first of all, big Uso fans. Second, I love that they gave them a whole entrance. You know what I'm saying? You know how some of the guys was coming from the middle part of the entrance. I think long time coming. 2 wins in a row WrestleMania after 3 straight pre-show WrestleManias. They got the W in this one. Extremely proud of the Usos. I feel like I'm part of the Uso pen. I just love watching these guys perform, and I love that they got to have the spotlight, the soak up the moment, hear their music after they won, and just vibe in the crowd. Love them. Congratulations, Usos, on the win.
Well, I was going to be quick to say, I told you so. And, don't sleep on the Usos at Mania because they have been have been put on pre-show after pre-show after pre-show. That they finally got that great match with the New Day, which was absolutely incredible, and they got their Mania moment together. And then like they tore the house down again at what was it, SummerSlam, in which they tore the roof off. I can't remember what pay-per-view it was where they tore the roof off together again after that. But no offense to any of the other tag teams, but right now the cream of the crop starts with the Usos, and I'm not taking anything away from the legendary Hardy Boys or any of the other tag teams, but if I'm going to grade them, it's going to be Usos, New Day, then afterwards possibly the Revival, possibly. For the new age wrestlers, I'm not taking anything away, like I said, for the legends, like the Hardys.
I can definitely agree with that in this new age. Moving right along, next match on the card, we got the 2 biggest matches coming into WrestleMania. I'm going to lead with this one just because of my personal feelings of this match. Even though it was the main event, Becky Lynch defeated Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair to win the winner-take-all match and is now WWE's SmackDown and Raw's Women's Champion simultaneously. First of all, I definitely felt that Becky was winning, but there's a lot of controversy behind the win with a lot of people saying that the match was not supposed to end that way, to the point where the way that it ended was very shocking. Becky Lynch was about to get the Samoan drop from Ronda Rousey and actually reversed it into a roll-up, which we couldn't tell who was pinned as the pin was happening until after they counted 3 and Becky Lynch's music started playing. So for me, because of the lackluster ending and dropping, the title that easily after going, pretty much undefeated singles competition up until this point, it was a very lackluster finish for me.
She got Thanos snapped.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, maybe you didn't catch that. I said Ronda got that Thanos snap.
Ah, okay. All right. I didn't catch that. Went right over my head. I'm not even going to lie. I was like, okay. But
yeah, Ronda got the Thanos snap. That's what it was. No, it was very controversial. Yeah, we got Becky 2 belts, who deserves it, but I still think that there was something underlying there that's still missing with this. So I'm just gonna sit back and watch. But congratulations, Becky, 2 belts.
I am like, well, hey, first of all, congratulations, Becky. Congratulations, first woman main event to win heavyweight championship in a main event. That great accomplishment. The match, I didn't think the match lived up to the hype. I think the story was a lot better than the match itself. I think the promos and I think the in promo fights was a lot better than the match itself. I think that's a curse of having such a great buildup. You have such a great buildup, the match has to live up to it. And I think they was just a victim of the match not living up to the buildup because, I mean, it was all the hype. It was first everything, you know what I'm saying? So everybody was going to have their eyes on it. And they didn't disappoint promo-wise and the fighting leading up to it, but I don't think the match really led up. I think the match was okay. The match was okay. The ending really took away from it, in my view, but it gave a little drama. But at the same time, I didn't really. It was lackluster to me. So, yeah.
And I hate to
with the match.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say time. It felt like it was very, very rushed because of time. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, I really hate to be the person that makes an objectifying comment, in reference to the women's match, but to me, it felt like, having that girl that you're talking to, that you just met, and you wanted to get to know her, and the conversation is dope, and everything is just great, and then y'all finally hook up, and it was nothing like what you thought it was going to be. I think that's exactly what this match was in real life. That was a personification of that. But in other words, I mean, other than that, congratulations to Becky is really the only thing that I can say. Anybody else got any comments on that match before we jump into the main event in our hearts from this pay-per-view?
No, I'm good.
Your ball, your court.
So, the final match that I wanted to go over, this was definitely the most emotional, the most meaningful match of the night to me. Kofi Kingston. It doesn't even feel real actually saying this right now. Kofi Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan, the new Daniel Bryan, to become WWE champion. Kofi Kingston is currently holding the biggest title in the company right now.
Hold
There's
on.
still a lot to take it.
I'm just
We
taking
gotta
it
drink
all
it in, man.
First of all,
man,
if you guys follow the Game Runners, and you guys follow any of us personally, good friend of mine, Wayne, posted a live video of the reaction of Kofi Kingston getting a 3 count and how the whole entire room reacted. Like this match had me on the edge of my seat the whole match, to the point where I was on my knees, like damn near praying, like, yo, really, if this is really good, please let this happen. And when he hit that Trouble in Paradise, and I'm thinking, all right, Daniel Bryan, he's already kicked out of Daniel Bryan's knee and broke the X-Lock like twice in this match by this point. And I'm thinking in my head, yeah, Daniel Bryan's about to kick out of this, and we're going to get another Kofi knee, and it's going to be over, and Kofi Mania is going to be over. But for this to happen, and Daniel Bryan gets a 3 count off of the first Trouble in Paradise, it was surreal. Like, I never, in 32 years of life, would have thought that I would see an African-American champ, like a guy that, looks like me. For lack of a better term, the way that Xavier said it, people like us, like to see a person like us hold the biggest title in the country. Like, I legitimately cried after this match was over with, as if I just saw my son go up there and win a championship, or my nephew, or my brother, or anything. It felt deeper than wrestling to me in that moment. And I don't want to hog the whole talk space here, so I'm gonna let you guys jump in because there's a lot that I could say off of this.
Man, what can you say more than that? It's never, ever thought I'd see the day Kofi Kingston will win the WWE Championship. Did it for the people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Goodness gracious, man. What a moment. Probably one of the greatest moments in WrestleMania. The fact that it happened at WrestleMania boggles my mind, bro. Like, this didn't happen at No Way Out or
Fastlane.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this happened at WrestleMania in MetLife Stadium in front of 80,000 people, bro. And Kofi Kingston won. Look, big ups, WWE, Vince, whoever, Triple H, everybody behind that call. Thank you so much. I feel like everybody won when that 3 hit, man. I think it felt like Barack Obama came back into the office, brother. Like, it was crazy. Listen, it was crazy. And honestly, I don't even care if he dropped it at the next pay. It wouldn't even matter to me. The fact that he got that moment at WrestleMania and he did it at WrestleMania, man, and the build up, the story was dope about it. Amazing from start to finish. Now, that's how you live up to the story. That match lived up to the story that it was telling. Probably the match of the night, the storyline of the year. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations, Kofi, man. I don't want to take too much time on it, but I'm just happy about it.
Well, for me, yes, it's been a long time coming, but I will say this. I don't feel that there was anybody more deserving of that spot to go from not even being in contention. Because you also got to think about it. If it had not have been for bad timing or bad luck on behalf of Ali, we would have never got this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So the show must go on, as they say. I mean, I hate it for him. I hate it for Ali for that reason. But at the same time, like Kofi, for him to have been there as long as he has, and to finally get put in that position to do that and win the title at Mania and to be able to celebrate out there in front of MetLife Stadium and all the millions and millions of the New Day fans around the world. I'm sorry, I had to give a shout out to the original first Black WWE World Champion.
Oh.
I had to bring both of them into it. Yeah, but exactly. Yeah. But had to give a little props there to The Rock because technically Rock is still number one.
And
that's a whole other debate.
Yep. It's a whole other debate, but it makes me like, I swear on everything, y'all. 2 things that would be fantasy booking for me right now before Kofi drops the title, because we know he's got to drop it at some point. You know, I wasn't ready for it to happen Monday when they tried to do that champion versus champion match, and I'm glad that the bar stopped that. But I need to see a confrontation. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a match, but I need to see a confrontation with Kofi Kingston and The Rock at some point.
Oh man, that is fantasy booking. That's a major situation right there. Oh, especially like, oh man, that'd be amazing. Would be amazing.
Do you talk about meteoric? Like Kofi's stock would immediately just like just The Rock. I could just imagine The Rock coming just to be like, you know, he was in the area, and you know he just comes out and all of a sudden he's cutting his promo, and if you smell wow, and then all of a sudden it's a new day. Yes, it is. And he comes out there. The entire New Day comes out there, and I just see this intense stare off between The Rock and Kofi Kingston before it turns into like a loving embrace, like just being happy for one another. That would just like make my whole like wrestling hood right there just to see that moment on TV.
Full circle.
Full circle. That would
circle.
See the heel in me.
No, of course the Rock's got to be heel.
Immediately turn to if y'all remember the Rock storyline with Hurricane. Oh my gosh, if The Rock came back as Hollywood Rock and went against Kofi and like just treated him like shit, you're Kofi, like what the hell? Whoop your candy ass all over them. What? You know what I'm saying? But I think that will elevate Kofi. Oh man, that would because Kofi's the champion. Like he's the champion. Like I don't give a damn what you think. You been a gone, and I'm the champ. You know what I'm saying? So you think you might whoop my ass, but I have a chance. You know what I'm saying?
And I think The Rock is such a good guy that I feel like The Rock would put Kofi over in a heartbeat. And that's why I would love to see it. Because like if they really did have a match, I think that it's gonna be the biggest match of Kofi's career, and B, no matter if Kofi won or lost, which more than likely he's gonna win it, because I feel like The Rock will put him over. That would solidify Kofi Kingston as a main eventer now for the rest of his career in WWE. If they could book that.
Yeah, that's how I would fantasy book that, just like that. Like have your feel good embracing moment like after their match, but have Kofi pull that upset and win, beat The Rock, and The Rock's like, oh, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? That surprise Rock. But they have that embrace after that match. But yeah, I feel like that, that Hollywood Rock character, oh man, would just be money for Kofi.
This is so far-fetched. Like, this is way fantasy booking. But in my mind, this would be such gold if we could get this to happen.
All I had to do was lay the seeds, man. All I had to do was lay the seeds. Y'all water them and fertilize them how you please. I just laid the seed.
Yeah, I hear you. That's facts.
That means two things. Swerves and curves coming at you.
The only other thing that I would like to see that wouldn't be as outlandish is, because we all know that this was Mustafa Ali's spot, I want to see a Mustafa versus Kofi feud while Kofi is the champion.
I think he should get the first feud, honestly. I think he should get the first one because I think it will be a good way to keep the belt on Kofi and with a legitimate person that he can beat. You know what I'm saying? Without having to be like an upset win for a champion.
Honestly, I was just going to say that if the next upcoming pay-per-view is Money in the Bank, right? If Mustafa Ali and Ricochet are in a Money in the Bank match, I'm turning it off. Simple. If Mustafa Ali and Ricochet are not in a Money in the Bank ladder match, I do not want to watch it.
I honestly think, not to go too off topic, but to piggyback off of you, Toy, with Money in the Bank, I think WWE should keep going with the underdog type of feel and have somebody from the tag team division qualify for the Money in the Bank and win the Money in the Bank. I don't know who, but I would go for that. Just for the excitement factor.
I'm just talking about for the excitement factor of the match. If those two men who will flip and give their bodies up and just like do the most acrobatic moves, I mean, Mustafa Ali and the Spanish Fly off the ladder, look at that.
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali hits Ricochet off the top of the ladder with a Spanish Fly, and Ricochet lands on his damn feet like he's been doing. Whew.
Yeah.
Come on now. And then one of them end up winning Money in the Bank and going after Kofi.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, that's my fantasy booking. Y'all fantasy with Rock, I fantasy with them too. Hey.
So let me ask you, if you don't mind, I don't mean to cut you if you about to go into anything, Jay.
Oh, you good?
Let me ask you guys a question. You know, the age-old WrestleMania question. What was you guys' entrance of the night?
Well, Batripsta, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I had to put it in there, Batripsta.
Right. Even though he tripped, yeah, that was still my favorite. That was my favorite of the night. That was my favorite.
But to me, even the entrances were lackluster. I mean, we got Joan Jett coming out there performing, bad reputation for Ronda Rousey speed walking down the ring. I mean, one more step, she's John Cena.
Y'all wasn't feeling the John Cena, the Thugonomics, Mr. Thugonomics coming out?
No, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I loved it.
I marked out.
I did.
Pun intended.
I was like, my son came out there and he was like, "Ooh, John Cena went old school." And mind you, my son is 8 years old, so he doesn't even know about Thuggin. But just to see John Cena come out he was like, "Ooh, he went old school," and it was the cutest thing ever. I loved it. He's a big John Cena fan. Of course, all little kids are. Mm-hmm. Little girls love Bailey. Little boys love John Cena.
Yeah. If I could though make one suggestion moving forward with WrestleMania is I do feel like they should use the year leading up to WrestleMania to really focus on and really make that year leading up to WrestleMania competitive, and be like, you know, WrestleMania is only going to be a certain amount of matches. We're not going to have 14 matches and go 5 hours. We're going to have like 8, maybe 9, something. And these matches are going to start meaning something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just my suggestion going forward for WrestleMania.
It has to be like the playoffs of any major sport.
Make these wrestlers like have something to look forward to. Don't be like, hey, okay, it's WrestleMania. Let's have 14 matches to get as much people as we own and have 2 fatal 4-way matches. And make it like, look, we got only but few slots for WrestleMania. This is y'all got a whole year to reinvent yourselves, to really go out on these storylines, to have these matches of the years and all of it, and we'll see who's left standing at the end of the year. That's how I feel it. It's going to make it competitive, and I think it's going to level up the content. To me, that's how I feel like WrestleMania should be moving forward.
I just need them to build up matches like with Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan had set. They set the bar for what a feud leading up to WrestleMania is supposed to be. It's something that WWE has gotten out of a long time. Just the video packages that we would have for, you know, a match. Say like if there was going to be a John Cena versus Batista match, or John Cena versus The Rock, or you know Daniel Bryan's package against Triple H. You need matches like that leading up to WrestleMania. Something that has the fans buzzing. And I think that's something that they've been missing for quite a few years. I think Brock Lesnar kind of killed a lot of build-up for a lot of matches just because he was rarely ever there. You would only see him maybe the week before the actual pay-per-view match, and they don't have time to build a legitimate feud with anybody beforehand. And because they were treating the WWE title as the secondary title because it was on SmackDown in the last couple of years, that's also played a part into why it's been that way as well.
Lit.
Okay. Let me been on and a that I like to see what they to get their reaction, different things that happen. But they also said that WWE is also looking to hire a new continuity story writer.
Oh, wow.
Like, they are looking for somebody to use year feuds to get that build up. So it looks like they're already taking that step in that direction. I don't know. Has been shared in our game runners group. on Facebook. You can find us there. I'm Toya Fowler. Check me out. But yeah, shameless plug. I'm sorry, I had to. I'll give it because it just broke that the Road Dogg is stepping down from creative at SmackDown, and there's also another gentleman who has also quit as far as that goes. So, I mean, if any of y'all have any talent enough to feel like this will be a role for you, I definitely suggest doing it. I'm very creative, but that's a little bit outside of my field of expertise. I can't make a story go on that long.
I can jump right in. They need to go ahead and hire me.
Hey, all you got to do is just submit your resume, man.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so let me ask y'all one more thing. Can I get a extremely way too early prediction as far as your WrestleMania main event for WrestleMania 36, which, by the way, has the dopest logo going on in Tampa Bay. Can't wait to see what they do with the big ship in that stadium, the pirate ship that's sitting at the top of the stadium. I just know that they're going to incorporate that into their entrance some type of way. But
if Kairi Sane doesn't come out on that boat, if she doesn't come out on that boat, throw the whole pay-per-view away.
Right, exactly. They have to, right? She has to.
I mean, that writes itself. But otherwise, main event for next year for me, I think that it's easily going to have to incorporate Drew McIntyre into it. So I'm thinking if they are on the same show next year, I would love to see Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles as a main event match.
Oh, wow. I love that.
I'm going big. Yeah.
Which title on the line?
Universal. I need Drew to stay on Raw, and I need AJ to leave SmackDown and come to Raw.
Okay.
I need the titles to flip. I think that the WWE Championship needs to go to Raw, and I think the Universal needs to come to SmackDown and get rid of that red belt.
I was going to say, if they change the color on the Universal title, that can work. But it's too red right now to be on SmackDown.
Yeah, I think they'll probably keep it as it is.
But no, I'm just saying, like, they said that the champions are allowed to be switched in the shakeup. So, no champion is safe on their show.
True.
So, why not? Go ahead and switch it up and then have Stephanie McMahon or Vince McMahon give Seth a new title because that title is so cursed looking anyway. Go with the nice, like, white title or something, white with hints of blue in it, something possibly with an old school kind of feel to it, kind of like the old WCW championship belt, but not that big bright gold buckle on it. Maybe something a little more, but yet a little less at the same time. Right. Right.
My extremely early prediction for next year is probably sort of taking out the book of the ladies this year and sort of a winner take all match, except it won't be for the two heavyweight titles. I think it's going to be the WWE Championship and the Intercontinental Championship, and I'm taking that match to be with possibly a triple threat match between Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Roman Reigns, with both the Intercontinental Championship and the WWE Championship in that match.
Then why not go ahead and have one of them hold the U.S. and make it like a winner take all, and then just go ahead and
that's a lot
fuse
of
the
titles.
U.S. and all of them. No, it's actually a way to eliminate two titles and make a TV title or something like that. Have one major championship, instead of having two minors, have one major and one minor.
If they go forward with the idea of splitting infusing all the brands and not doing a split no more, maybe that'll probably be a dope idea. But I think they're gonna stay with the split, I think they're gonna have to I think it'd be smarter or better to keep the mid-level titles for the particular shows at least.
All right. So we're getting close to the end here to jump into the final thought. Before I jump into the final thought here, we got a comment from the Professor John Gotti himself on the live chat here. And I guess we missed this one earlier when we were discussing the tag teams of WWE. So he and the Doc are surprised with your comment saying that the Revival are a top 5 or a top tag team in WWE with the hashtag FTR. If you know what FTR is, you know what FTR is when it comes to the Revival. So anything to weigh in on the Professor John Gotti's comments here?
Shout out John Gotti.
Lady Grey want anything?
Called you out,
did I put them in there?
Yeah, he called you out.
Why would I put the Revival in there? Why? I'm sick of them together and then being called a tag team. That's why. I want two people who came in together, who have been tagging together for a long time. That's why I put them in there, because they earned it. Next.
Straight like that.
Well,
Straight like that.
Just like that.
We're and curves.
Well, you know something, brother.
We're going to jump into our final thought.
Cut a promo just like...
Oh, really?
Cut a promo to you, whichever...
Uh-oh.
Is she still with us?
Nah, I'm not gonna do. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that shit. I'm rolling no shit on nobody.
Well, jumping right into the final thought. For me personally, I'm gonna jump into this one. Give you a really quick one. The Superstar Shakeup, which you mentioned earlier, is gonna be this coming Monday. We'll go through Tuesday. This is one of the things that everybody always looks for at every pay-per-view or every WrestleMania is who's gonna go where. Next week we'll definitely give a recap of the shakeup and tell you, who are the biggest names to switch companies switch shows, not companies. Me personally, if I'm gonna give somebody that I'm hoping to see make a move, I already named AJ Styles. I also would love to see The Miz come back to Raw as well. Those are two big names that I would love to see move in this shakeup. And with that, that's my final thought. Either one of you guys want to go next? Doesn't matter.
My final thought real quick, man. I think it was a great 3 days for Brooklyn, a great WrestleMania week. As far as the shakeup, the biggest thing I would like to see is Roman go to SmackDown and become the face of SmackDown.
Okay.
Okay. And so that's how we're going. Okay. So my final thought, I'm going to go ahead and graze over something I talked about before. And when I say do your job, I mean do your job. I have a lot of lazy co-workers at my job, and it's frustrating. And when you feel like you're carrying the world on your shoulders because nobody else is wanting to do their job, it's extremely frustrating. But I'm going to leave it at that. It's enough of that rib. She knows it. We know it. We're going to go ahead and move forward. So either way, shake up. I love it. I'm anxious to see who's getting called up from NXT. I'm anxious to see how certain things are going to play out. Like, where is the man going to land? Is she going to stay in the land of SmackDown, or is she going to take Becky 2 belts on back to Raw permanently? I don't know. Will she receive another woman's right? I don't know, but I like it. But right now, if I'm going to call my fantasy of who is going to what show and why, I'm saying that the Usos are going to Raw and the Revival are coming to SmackDown. And that's my final thought.
All right. So once again, great show. Once again, glad to have Chill on the show again. We got to have you on here a few more times. Whenever you want to be on the show, the door is always open for you. Next week, once again, we're going to be recapping the Superstar Shakeup, and we'll have a couple of other topics to go over for you guys as well. But as for this show, this has been the Marking Out Amongst Friends, the podcast, and this is your boy Jay Rady out. But before that, you know what I'm about to do. It's time to hit our damn music.
He looks like a fan.
Yeah. Marking out.
He was marking out, man.
450 off the top with the topics. Leader of the new school, ain't no way to stop us. Mark it out, screaming loud, tell me who you with. Competition is none, cause we lunatics. Walk with me down these roads if you're all in. I love the feeling, baby, time to go to work again. Come together like a fist and we do it proud. Light it up and burn it down, cause we marking out.
He was marking out, man.
And we are marking out.